Hello everyone, welcome back. Prices on everything are going up, and one of the things that's been in the news, especially for farmers, but it's going to affect all of us, is the cost of fertilizer. And I've been meaning to do this for a while and just kept putting it off, but I decided this is a really good time to start making my own fertilizer for my garden. So I bought myself a worm composter. You can make them. There's all kinds of instructions online. I didn't want to deal with it. I got too much else going on. So I purchased, it's Worm Factory 360. And this is all self-contained. It's got 4 trays. The only thing it didn't come with to start is the worms. So they're coming in today and being delivered. So I've got to get this set up before they come. So I'm going to show you how we do this, and hopefully this is going to work out well and be self-sustaining, which is really what I want to do. So let's get started with worm composting. Before I go pick up my worms, I need to get the bedding prepared. And you do this ahead of time so it has time to just kind of sit. So they have provided shredded newspaper, pumice, rock dust, and shredded core coconut fibers, however you want to say it. I don't know if that's right, but that's what this is. To get started, we're going to use half of this bag of the core coconut fibers. And boy, I think I'm going to be making a mess. What else is new? So this tells me I should have enough for almost 2 trays. I should have what I need. Nope, this will be enough for 2 trays that they sent. So that's really nice that I don't have to get all these things for a little while, because you have to wait till the worms, you add them and then they get active, and as they start creating the compost, then you'll add more trays to the top. But to begin with, you're only going to have 1 tray active. This is the shredded newspaper. And about half. All right, now that I got those 2 in there, I'm going to kind of mix them together just a little bit. And like I said, I'm making a mess getting this stuff everywhere. Plus, that's kind of flyaway, so. Now we're just going to add a small amount of water. You don't want to add very much because you don't want this sopping wet. So you start with a little bit. And gradually add it. You just want this kind of damp, and it should be, when you get enough water, it should just, you can squeeze it and you're not going to squeeze any water out. Maybe a drop or two, but not any substantial amount. Almost there. And I think that's going to do it. If you can squeeze a few drops, that's ready. So this mixture is at the right consistency. Now we're going to add half a bag of the pumice. And I think I'm going to put these in Ziploc bags once I get finished, to store it until the next time. So half of the bag of pumice. And the cats are playing. They found a little piece of cardboard and they're chasing it around the floor. Cat fun. And then about a tablespoon of the rock dust. I'm gonna mix everything together. The idea is once this gets going, you're going to feed it kitchen scraps, paper, cardboard, almost anything natural, no dairy, and no meats or fats. And usually you want small pieces so that the worms can break it down a little bit faster. But you just feed it every day, every week. Whatever works, kitchen scraps, all of that. And if you're doing it right, there should be no odors. So to start with, this is going to be in my house. They don't like real cold or real hot temperatures. So this is by my back door, and I've got my worm factory here. These are the extra bins that you add to it, the trays. And this is for putting underneath it to catch liquids. And they give you the little tools that you need. That. They even give you a thermometer to keep an eye on the temperature. So this is how this works. You have a base, and it has a spigot on it. And that spigot does two things. It helps air get in to circulate, and it also will drain out any liquids that are coming out, and you can use that liquid. So then you add this, which is called a worm ladder, which is kind of weird, but that's what they call it. So what this does is this lifts it up off the bottom, and if worms get down here, they're able to get back up. That's why it's called a ladder, I guess. And So it gives airflow. And then you add the first tray. I mean, this is really kind of simple, but I like the way this one's set up. I've looked at a number of them. This one had really high reviews, and it looked like it made sense to me. And you have an instruction book that tells you every step of the way, which is really helpful for me. So we've got our mixture mostly done. Now I need to add 1 or 2 cupfuls of garden soil or compost to this bedding mixture. So I'm gonna go out and get that. I'll be right back. All right, I add a little bit of my garden soil in there. And I'm gonna mix that up. And I will mix it up better as I add it. So that's the worm bedding. So now it says to add 1 or 2 pages of newsprint to the bottom, and you're going to add this dry. I don't get newspapers. They definitely don't deliver where I live. But my sister takes the Epic Times, so I asked her to save it for me. So I just want to make that fit as closely as possible. The idea is you don't want the worms just dropping through, because I'm guessing they're going to be little bitty ones. I ordered a bunch, so hopefully they all survive the trip. All right, I'm going to mix it up well. And then we're just going to spread it around evenly. Now I'm going to add 2 or 3 cups of food for it. So kitchen scraps, things like that. And I'm just going to put it in one corner. And then I'm going to go into town and pick up my worms. And I'm also going to get baby chickens today, so I hope that all works out. So lots of live little things today. Now, you don't have to add to this every day. You could do it once a week or whatever. I have a compost bucket that has a filter on the top, so I can collect my worm food in my bucket. It can be coffee grounds, it can be all kinds of vegetable scraps. Like I said, no dairy, no fats, no meats, and I believe no citrus. It says the smaller the better. Chop the food into small pieces. Some puree the foods, but you don't have to. Anything once alive can be food for worms, but some take longer to decompose. They don't recommend adding citrus, meat scraps, fat, or dairy. So that leaves a lot of stuff you can add. Now, I had some tomatoes that were a little bit overripe, and I had weeds, because that's one thing that grows well in Nevada, and they're green right now. So nothing else is, but the weeds are doing well. So I'm gonna just kind of make room in one corner and put all my scraps in there. Now, I didn't break these out, but they're pretty fine size anyway, so not too worried about it. And I ordered, I think, 500 worms. It's a few. So that goes just like that. And then it says to add 5 to 10 full pages of newspaper, no slick color paper, and fold it so it will fit in the tray. So I'm gonna kind of do like before. Fold it like that, it's a little bit wide. And then like that. And I'm going to alternate directions. That way it's more even. And as you can see, I don't worry about being perfect. It just needs to get covered. That's 6 pages. And then you lightly dampen it. So I'm just gonna spray it, because that's easier than trying to wet it under the sink and make sure it's not sopping. Now we just put it back in. That one's still not too damp, so I'm going to add a little bit. Again, you don't want it sopping wet, but you want it damp. And then you put the cover on. I can get it to sit on there right. And now I'm gonna just let this sit till I go into town and pick up the worms. Then we're gonna add them in. Well, it's that time of year. I got my little baby chicks today. I got 4 Easter eggers and 4 the lavender Orpingtons. I bought some of those last year and I love them. So those are the 2 kinds I wanted. They are very vocal because I just got them home, but I kept them nice and toasty, so they're good. So they are adorable. They're tiny. I don't know if they just got in shipment this morning, so I don't know if they're 1 day or 2 day, but they are tiny little things. So yay, got my baby chicks. Still waiting on the shipment of worms. Well, I got the baby chickens earlier this afternoon, and I had to do some finagling to get the worms picked up and brought home today because I didn't want them sitting there. They probably would have been okay, but I didn't want to risk it. So my sister picked them up. I drove a ways and met her, and here's the worms. All right, let's open this box of worms. My sister got a big kick out of me asking her to go pick up worms. She thought that was really funny. Now, let's hope these worms are in good shape. So, open the box, and it's a bag. Don't know what I was expecting. I was thinking maybe a tub or something, but okay. Introduce worms to their new environment as soon as possible. Place them in the center compost bin or compost pile. Sprinkle with water and cover them with moist newspaper, peat, moss, or topsoil. So I already have that prepared for them. So let's open the bag and see what they look like. And there's worms, and they're crawling around. I'm not sure that you're going to be able to see them because it's black on black. But now I'm going to take the lid off the composter. I'm going to remove this damp newspaper that we put down. Set it aside because we're going to use it again. Now, this Uncle Jim's worm farm was one of the highest rated as far as reliable, and they seem to come live and all that stuff. I want to make sure I got them all because I don't want them getting loose in my house, because that would be weird. And that is what they look like. It's a bunch of worms. So I'm going to go find that little rake they gave me, and I'm going to rake them around. Now hopefully you'll be able to see this. That's a bunch of worms. So we'll spread them out so they can all go to the buffet. I'm going to spritz just a little bit because it didn't feel that wet. And I'm going to spray the underneath of this again because it's kind of, I didn't get it real wet earlier, so I want to make sure it's pretty damp. Now this side again. Now, I'm going to put the lid on it. Make sure it's on there well, because I don't want those worms deciding they're going to go see what this new home is like. And I'm going to leave this at least 2 days before I open it up and look at them, because I want them to figure out this is where they got to be and that's their food source. So, a new and exciting project in addition to my baby chickens. And I will do a follow-up in a week or so and see how they're doing. In the meantime, thank you for watching. God bless, and we'll talk soon.